Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is a very vital figure, political figure in the history of India. Since the independence of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has held the post of Prime Minister until his death. And not even any single enemy of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru could speak ill of him, of his honesty or of his dishonesty. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is an undisputed political leader, both among his fellow politicians and his opposition political parties. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has a very good legacy, and he has established the Gandhi family. But there is a big history behind behind his changing from Nehru to Gandhi. But in our another class, we will talk about how Nehru family became a Gandhi family. But today, we just are going to talk about the uh, only the death and funeral of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. I hope you will enjoy reading this lesson. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, simply, he was born on uh, India, and the date of his birth is 14 November 1889, and he died on 27 May 1964. But in this lesson, without discussing anything about his uh, political ideology or political life or his prime ministership, or his support for democracy, secularism, science, and technology. But in this lesson, we will just simply talk about the death of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, without making any delay, now let's talk about the death and state funeral of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru in 1954 said, "If any people choose to think of me, then I should like them to say, this was the man who, with all his mind and heart, loved India and the Indian people, and they in turn were indulgent to him and gave him of their love most abundantly and extravagantly." Nehru's health began declining steadily in 1962. In the spring of 1962, he was affected with a viral infection over which he spent most of April in bed. In the next year through 1963, he spent months recuperating in Kashmir. Some writers attribute this dramatic decline to his surprise and chagrin over the Sino-Indian War, which he perceived as a betrayal of trust. Upon his return from Dehradun on 26 May 1964, he was feeling quite comfortable and went to bed at about 23:30 as usual. He had a restful night until about 6:30. Soon after he returned from the bathroom, Nehru complained of pain in the back. He spoke to the doctors who attended to him for a brief while, and almost immediately he collapsed. He remained unconscious until he died at 13:44. His death was announced in the Lok Sabha at 13 local time on 27 May 1964. The cause of death was believed to be a heart attack. Draped. One thing here I would like to remind you here in this channel of mine, I had several videos on heart attack or heart failure or coronary artery bypass surgery or mm, uh, heart failure or long-term management of heart failure, what causes coronary artery blocking. So if you become interested about knowing heart attack, you can browse my channel and look at other videos on heart attack. Okay, draped in the Indian national tricolor flag, the body of Jawaharlal Nehru was placed for public viewing. Raghupati Raghava Rajaram was chanted as the body was placed on the platform. On 28 May, Nehru was cremated in accordance with Hindu rites as the Shantivan on the banks of the Yamuna, witnessed by 1.5 million mourners who had flocked into the streets of Delhi and the cremation grounds. US President Lyndon B. Johnson remarked on his death, saying, "History has already recorded his monumental contribution to the molding of a strong and independent India. And yet, it is not just as a leader of India that he has served humanity. Perhaps more than any other world leader, he has given expression to man's yearning for peace. This is the issue of our age. In his fearless pursuit of a world free from war, he has served all humanity." Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev and the future Soviet Premier Leonid Brezhnev remarked on his death. The name of Jawaharlal Nehru enjoyed the tremendous respect and love of the Soviet people, who knew him as a tested and wise leader of the Indian people's struggle for national independence and the rebirth of their country, and as an active fighter against colonialism. Jawaharlal Nehru is known as an outstanding statesman of modern times who devoted his entire life to the struggle for strengthening friendship and cooperation among peoples and for the progress of humanity. He was a passionate fighter for peace in the world and an ardent champion of principles of peaceful coexistence of states. He was the inspirer of the non-aligned policy promoted by the Indian government. The reasonable policy won India respect, and due to it, India is now occupying a worthy place in the international arena. Countries such as Egypt, Cambodia, Nepal, Kuwait, Bhutan, Kingdom of Sikkim, Nepal, Pakistan, Syria, Iraq, Uganda, Malaysia, Yugoslavia, Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, India, and others declared national mourning over the death of Nehru. Nehru's death left India with no clear political heir to his leadership. Lal Bahadur Shastri later succeeded Nehru as the Prime Minister. The death was announced to the Indian Parliament in words similar to Nehru's own at the time of Gandhi's assassination. "The light is out." India's Prime Minister and then a Rajya Sabha MP from Uttar Pradesh, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, famously delivered Nehru an acclaimed eulogy. After Nehru's death, Vajpayee made a speech in the Rajya Sabha, hailing Nehru as Bharat Mata's favorite prince and likened him to the Hindu god Ram. And simply that's all about the death, about how uh, uh, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the Prime Minister of India, died. And here I would like to once again remind you, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, died in the afternoon of 27 May 1964 at the age of 74 of a heart attack. So I think you have already enjoyed the topic on the death of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and I am once again telling you that he is an undisputed leader. He is not only a political leader; he had been a very good and skilled statesman, and it is because of his role in Indian politics he made India stand out in the Indian subcontinent and even in South Asia. India is still a rising and one of the largest democracy. This is one of the rarest countries in South Asia which never saw any military rule since its independence in 1947 from England. So we must bow to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and we must pay huge tribute to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru for the role he had played as the first Prime Minister of India till his death. And hats off to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. And we need more leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. They are very much sacrificing leaders. They knew what to do and how to help the people of India and even the people of the whole world. They have shown us the path of how democracy should be exercised, how democratic power should be utilized, how democracy should be developed. And for your better understanding, better knowing, you should know there are many books, several books written by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India. He was a very secular leader. He did not bother about any religious bigotry, any religious orthodoxy. He just openly declared India should be secular. Religion, people of various religions will live together in India in coexistence, in peace, and in unity. And that's the motto of a democratic society. Democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that's why India shall not perish from the earth, because their master, their guru, the first master, the first guru of India as the Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, has taught Indian people how to foster, how to nourish, how to cherish, how to shape, how to mold democracy into a welfare state. So thank you very much for your patient hearing, and I hope Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru will be a very good help for you to understand politics and how, if we look back very seriously, very minutely, scrutinize at the lives of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, we will learn a lot about how democracy should be cherished, democracy should be developed. Thank you very much for your kind perusal, kind listening to this video. And once again, I'd like to invite you to browse all other videos of my channel. I think you will get some knowledge about the topic I had talked about. Thank you very much. Bye bye.